It's not enough just to be a bit stronger. I need to be faster, more agile, more focused. I'm training for the peak of human performance.
Oh, not you again. How'd you get in my house?
You can't train everything at once. Because you'll die!
Don't you think people are sick of Batman videos by now?
You are not ready.
Oh, you crazy fool!
I thought you'd never call.
So I've been making these Batman videos on a roughly yearly basis for a while now, and the reason for that is not because I'm a nerd, it's definitely not that. It's because Batman offers a really interesting thought experiment. How would you train for optimum performance across modalities? He doesn't just need to be strong, he needs to be fast, he needs to be mobile, and it presents a really interesting challenge as a trainer. I've had the fortune over the last couple of years of training with and learning from some really fascinating people who are at the top of their game and their field. So I thought, how can I top what I've done before? I'll lean on their expertise. So I'm going to be visiting parkour athletes, someone who's trained SEAL Team 6, Grant, who's an excellent martial artist. I'm going to be speaking to some really high-profile coaches to get their recommendations for improving athletic performance. So right now I'm on my way to see Grant, and we're going to talk a little bit about the kind of martial arts skills and training that Batman might need. So yeah, man, you've obviously made that really awesome Batman martial arts training video. We went way in depth on all the techniques you'd need. Definitely check that out, guys. But if you had to like really hone in on just a few basic moves that people should drill when they're starting out, if they didn't have that much time for their martial arts training, what are the fundamentals that you'd need to start fighting like Batman, would you say?
Well, as we'd determined in the video before, obviously Batman's primary style is boxing, so it would have to be something around the basic boxing punches, and I think the most fundamental of those, the ones that anyone will use the most, is just a simple jab and a cross, as basic as that sounds, but those shots are so versatile in their application. I think to really, and it can almost seem like you're kind of just repeating something again and again and again, but that's the way to obviously gain that mastery in the skill. So I think some of the basic boxing punches, definitely jab and a cross obviously, and then some of the hooks and uppercuts and things like that as well. And then some of the basic kicks, like you know, like a teep kick or a front kick, and probably some lower kicks like some round kicks or something like that would be really useful as well.
Awesome, man. And so like if you had to pick like one or maybe two exercises like for conditioning and strength that would help someone to improve their athleticism for those moves specifically, what do you think are the most valuable, the most bang for your buck?
I think one of my favourites is it's a bit of a combination of two, so it's like the jack push-up where you kind of go down into a push-up and your legs shoot out, so you really have to use your core to kind of hold yourself in that low position and then spring back up again. And then I would say using that into kind of like a high tuck jump, so it's kind of like combining the jack push-up with a burpee in a way, just because it's using the whole body. It basically mimics the movements of martial arts, because you know, you're using all the different muscles of the body while you're going down. Like I said, the core, your arms obviously in that push-up motion, and then your legs to spring up out of that. I think that's probably one of the most beneficial ones that you could do.
Awesome, man. Hey man, how you doing? Oh, ridiculous. Not even warmed up, man.
Yeah, I know. Totally haven't been here yet.
Man, I just wanted to like ask you, if you were Batman, what kind of parkour moves would you recommend training? What do you think would be useful for him?
It's difficult to know because, I mean, the guy's got a cape that he can just fly off the buildings with, so there is that. But if I was Batman, then I'd like to climb up, as you said. I'd want to be able to do any vault that I'd need to do, because that would be, if anything's coming up to you and you're like chasing someone, you definitely need to be able to just quickly speed. So a speed vault would definitely be the vault you need, and just the ability to land in any situation, I think, is like absolutely necessary, which is why a parkour park is perfect, because most of your jumps are to the rails, and when you learn to jump to rails, then you can jump to anything.
The one exercise, you have to pick one that
One
you think
exercise
offers the most value. I'm not saying this would be the whole workout.
So difficult. Can I choose two?
Go on then.
Yeah, two. Okay, two. So like, I would say climb ups, but they have to be split into like two exercises, right? So that's like a wall pull, which is just like this, and then like a wall dip, which is like this. So if I show you, I'll just hop up here.
Just hop up here, man.
So you've got a wall pull, which is like this, and then you've got a dip, which is like this, and those are the two exercises that you should work through, so that you can eventually get to this move here.
Nice.
Which, where if you land up onto anything, then that's like, if you land in a cat grab and anything, you need to be able to pull yourself up. So it's so important to have that upper body strength in the pulling range of motion and the pushing range of motion, depending on where you land. And also, this reminds me of a kind of position you'd definitely be in for Batman. So you want to be working on that deep squat as well.
Yeah.
You are gonna try and do a climb up with no tutorial to start with.
Yeah,
so let's see what we got.
This is how I would naturally climb a wall, essentially.
Yeah. Nice, mate, not bad. When you're first starting, it is quicker to grab over the top like you did, right? And that only problem with that is scuffs up your arms, and long term, it's like just not a very fast way of doing it. What our aim of the game is, we want to come pull up. The mid stage is to just slide your hands on top, roll over, and then push.
So it's like a muscle up with the arms almost.
Exactly, yes.
So I'm just gonna.
Hands are too wide. Okay, I don't know how you did that. Problem is, you're about this wide.
Okay.
And when you're this wide, you immediately put pressure on all your joints all the way around, because you're like here, imagine how much pressure you can actually take there versus like this. Nice, what?
Yeah!
So quick! So quick!
I'm happy with that.
Yes!
There.
Yes! Yes! Yes, Adam! Hell yeah, man! Nice, dude! Yeah, yeah, yeah!
So now we know how we need to train if we want to move, jump and fight like Batman. But that's still not enough, because Batman isn't just a parkour martial artist. He finds himself in incredibly intense situations where he's under heavy fire, a huge amount of stress. He needs stamina, endurance, focus. And to get these things, we need to look a little bit further afield. Fortunately, I know just the guy, JC Santana from the Institute of Human Performance. He's a luminary of functional training, and he's trained the likes of MMA fighters, pro athletes, and the formidable SEAL Team 6. And I had the nerdy gall to ask him how he'd go about training Batman.
You know, so if you ask me what's the most important thing and overlooked in running, I wouldn't even say it's glute.
No? What would you say?
Ankle stiffness.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. The ankle stiffness.
Hey,
yeah.
you can give a new car, a new engine, everything. Boom, you can give a person super strong legs and all that. And if you put them in sand,
yeah,
it's over.
Yeah. So this like leads into one of the questions I wanted to ask you specifically. Like, it's a broad question, like maybe it's impossible to answer, but if you had like
one or two exercises that you would pick as the most important for all-round athleticism, what are the ones that you like come back to most often? I'm guessing car push would be one of them.
Car push is the lower body cardio animal for any sport or any activity that ambulates.
Yeah.
If you're moving from point A to point B fast, okay, car pushes, period, end of story, okay?
Yeah.
Then the other ones would be a cable press and a cable row. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, cable press, like standing up for the reasons that you explained in the past, like to keep your core rigid and everything.
And I would go single arm.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about like your training with SEAL Team 6, if you're able to talk about it. Like, what did you do for them? And
a lot of times we don't get physically tired. We get mentally tired. And that superimposes on our physicality.
Yeah.
But it's the mind that gets tired. ATP stores, glycogen stores, they're all there.
Yeah. Yeah. No
Mentally
physical effort, really.
tired.
So what do you do to fix that?
Well, back to the pre-fatigue stuff that I do.
Yeah.
That pre-fatigue is huge. If you want to mimic a situation that is always under stress, well, pre-stress them.
Yeah.
It's like engineering, total logic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how do I stress them? Well, number one, you got to suffocate the shit out of them. A Versa climber is always good.
Yeah.
A push of the car is always good because you know that'll do anybody in.
Yeah.
Airdyne is good. So I hit somebody with 30 seconds of a blasting, sometimes 2 pre-fatigues. I'll hit them with 30 seconds of a Versa climber, go to super legs. And I'll go 84 reps of super legs. And then I'll stand in front of a fighter, for example, and I'll say, when I'm in front of you with these noodles, don't let me touch. And they'll let you touch them. I'm going, what part of don't let me run like dodgeball?
How would you train Batman if he came into your gym? Like, he's got to be able to do everything, run across rooftops, fight the bad guys, got to stay focused. You know, he needs basic amount of strength, but...
I would train the way I trained SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
I would train with circuits.
Yeah.
You know, he's gotta have power because, you know, there's sometimes a pow, you know, pow with
of course.
Pow. Sometimes he needs a punch and stuff like that. So you got to train him like an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
But you also have to bring in the running because he runs, you know?
Yeah.
So right now, our new Batman program consists of jackhammer push-ups, wall presses and dips, car push, cable press and cable pull. We've also got some bag drills, a deep squat, sprinting, and some pre-fatigued focus work. I also asked Alan La from Invincible Worldwide what his most recommended exercise was for martial artists.
We call it the split push-up. It's in the flexibility program. I think that one exercise is good to promote strength, good to fix the hip alignments, and it's good to increase your flexibility.
So we can throw in this split push-up as well. That's already a beast workout, but it's not yet complete. Partly because it's not a balanced routine yet, and partly because it doesn't cover every possible scenario that Batman may find himself in. In my quest for cross-modal performance, I devised a system called the ATNSP Hierarchy. This breaks specific talents or proficiencies down into attributes, traits, and skills. So an attribute is a trainable single piece of anatomy, for example, big biceps, or an Achilles tendon with high hysteresis. A trait, meanwhile, is a more global ability. This might be something like good endurance or rotational strength. Traits are usually made up from multiple attributes. Skills, then, are an expression of traits and attributes, so that might mean a golf swing or a putt. And finally, proficiencies are hobbies or talents, and these are typically made from multiple skills. But recently I modified this to create the ATNSP hierarchy. I did this for Functional Training 2.0. N stands for networks, and it's the missing piece of the formula. A network is a combination of attributes, or skills, executed in a specific way. So if we reduce all skills down to individual attributes, we're essentially training in isolation like a bodybuilder. Better than training just the obliques and shoulders for a good punch is to train with a cable punch out that works those muscles together. I recommend coaches to use this system to train athletes and clients in any area. You can work backwards from the activity to identify the specific trainable units. You then train at every level. You train the isolated attributes, you train the traits, you train the networks together, and you practice the skills. But to really train like Batman, to train as an all-rounder, we then need to flip this idea on its head. Now we're going to look at the traits and attributes and networks that underpin the most possible skills, and we're going to look for exercises that hit the most of these all at once. In Super Functional Training 2.0, I describe these as super exercises. Super exercises sounds like a nonsense term I just made up, because it is, but I'm riffing off the idea of superfoods here. Just as a superfood provides lots of nutrients in one go, a super exercise will train multiple attributes and traits simultaneously. What exercises can Batman do that will make him simultaneously a better fighter, a better runner, a better climber, and a better thinker? What exercises can prevent injury whilst also building strength and mobility? There's another criteria by which we can consider an exercise a super exercise. That is, if it trains a missing trait or missing attribute. These are those things that we often neglect in our modern training and lifestyles. So for example, a missing trait could be straight arm strength. This reduces the likelihood of bicep tears during deadlift, it allows for cool moves like the planche and more. Rock climbers, meanwhile, need amazing finger strength. The handy thing is that there are already some movements out there that stand out as super exercises. These are the movements that specific coaches and fitness personalities have been shouting about from the rooftops. Movements that appear to develop freak athletes. For example, we have the ATG split squat, heralded by Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy, as a truly game-changing exercise for building not only incredible athleticism, but also bulletproof knees. Ben has been a huge disruptor in the industry, and this one movement encapsulates a lot of what he teaches.
There's 4 main reasons this ass to grass split squat is my favorite long-term athleticism plateau buster, meaning you just keep getting more athletic over time. First is that you're able to train your knee tendons. Tendons are stronger pound for pound, therefore springier than just muscles. Second is the vastus medialis. So of the thigh muscles, this teardrop shaped one is the most fast twitch, meaning it's also the one that gives you the most athleticism per pound, and you're able to proportionally train that. Third is the fact that we're able to do this one side at a time, therefore not having major imbalances between sides. So this keeps us less likely of getting hurt. And fourth is the hip flexor lengthening benefits, meaning this allows me, by getting longer hip flexors, to use my hamstrings and my glutes. So I think that's a sneaky side benefit for athleticism, and it might be the most important foundation for lower back health too.
Or how about the hip thruster from Brett Contreras, the glute guy? So many of us fail to activate our glutes during athletic movements and instead rely overly on our quads. Brett was one of the guys who really brought light to this issue, and he developed this movement in order to address the problem.
All right, let's talk about hip thrusts. Okay, in the preparation of athletes, many exercises that have been traditionally very popular train the glutes at long muscle lengths, which is very important. Think squats, stiff leg deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, step ups. These all work the glutes down deep in a flexed position, and that's important. You want a muscle to be strong throughout a full range of motion. However, in order to have that full range strength, you also need to have good lockout strength. Think about when you're sprinting. When you're propelling your body forward, you have to put force into the ground rearward. And the foot touches down, right in front of your center of gravity. You have some initial braking forces, and then you have to reapply propulsive forces, in order to keep accelerating, or in order to maintain top speed. So it's very difficult, very challenging. You need to have strong glutes at the lockout. Okay, what exercises are good for that? Well, hip thrust variations, back extensions, reverse hypers, even types of kickbacks can be valuable.
And speaking of bridges, Paul Wade, author of Convict Conditioning, swears by the back bridge as a tool to build a nearly indestructible spine. It's controversial, so proceed with caution, but he believes that it's helped many prisoners to develop superhuman performance. Pavel Satsulin and many others highly recommend 2 specific movements with the kettlebell: the kettlebell swing and the Turkish get-up. The kettlebell swing is sometimes described as having the what the hell effect, owing to its ability to improve everything from running speed to jumping height to deadlift strength. The get-up builds incredible shoulders and a powerful core. It's a favourite among wrestlers. Also popular among wrestlers is the Gamma cast, which you can perform using a club bell. This was the method famously used by the great Gamma, who went on to perform all sorts of legendary feats. Stuart McGill, the back mechanic, talks about the big 3 exercises for the back. Of those, the side bridge stands out as a missing way to develop the underappreciated quadratus lumborum, along with the serratus, obliques and hip abductors. As McGill says, proximal stiffness develops distal athleticism. The entire movement training movement seems to be in love with crawling, and I completely agree with them. Crawling develops proprioception as a quadrilateral movement. Speaking of, Ido Portal believes that everyone should spend some time in a deep resting squat, which we were also recommended by Liam earlier, and some time hanging from a bar to improve shoulder mobility. The latter also builds even more amazing grip strength. The Lalanne push-up was made famous by its namesake, Jack Lalanne. He used it primarily as a party trick, but the truth is that it builds an insanely strong core with no equipment necessary. And it's very similar in many ways to the Dragon Flag, as used by Bruce Lee. Meditation is heralded by everyone. This improves focus, willpower, and working memory. And of course, the big three movements are considered the big three for a reason. The bench, squat, and deadlift let you pile on huge amounts of weight for powerful muscle and tough tendons. But we should bring back the military press too, for that vertical pushing power. If we combine all these exercises with those recommended by our experts earlier, we end up with an incredibly comprehensive approach to training all-round athleticism, something that would be perfect for Batman.
So yeah, of course, it wouldn't be complete if I didn't share a few of my favourite exercises. So as many of you know, I like high repetition push-ups, fantastic for building strength, endurance, explosive power, core strength, and the perfect counterbalance to the high rep push-up is the bodyweight row, which is an anti-flexion movement missing from many of our diets, and it's fantastic for scapular control. The L-sit to handstand press. This is a hybrid movement. It's fantastic. Pressing power, core strength, compressive strength, cross-body clean and press. One exercise that trains so much. Rotation, a hinge, a squat, a press, and the Cossack squat, a rare movement in the frontal plane. Fantastic for hip mobility. The med ball slam, essentially a reverse vertical jump. Rotational throw, brilliant for building that rotational power. And finally the rope climb, excellent for grip strength, core strength, and of course, something highly applicable to the way that Batman would need to train. Yeah, those are my picks, but obviously I'm not the only guy who's built his YouTube career around training like superheroes. There's another guy who we need to speak to as well.
Well, my personal favorite exercise is a certain cardio you do with a buddy, but I'm not going to go into that because I love you, Bioneer, and I don't want you to get demonetized. So my favorite exercise, without a doubt, is probably weighted pull-ups. And I love weighted pull-ups because they are one of the most functional exercises anyone can master and learn, and just regular pull-ups in general, like and all the variations, chin-ups, close grip, neutral grip, all the variations. I love them so much because not only are they great at building that mass aesthetics and Cobra vibe for your back, but they are so functional. Like there are so many times in life where you need to pull yourself out of a scenario or like climb something to help really get that functional strength of climbing and moving, and works your forearms, your biceps, your back, and some a little bit of the tricep if you didn't know that. And I think it's just one of the best exercises everyone should strive to get down, all right? Love your lat pull downs, but pull-ups are the GOAT in my opinion.
So there you go guys, we've now got enough exercises to build a somewhat comprehensive routine that I think covers all of the dynamic performance that Batman would really need. Of course this was just a fun thought experiment. In reality you could never create one program that would cover every single aspect of human performance, and more importantly that would apply to every single person. When I spoke to JC Santana about this in more detail, he went and got all realistic on me. He was saying how it would depend on Batman's limb lengths, his weight, his schedule, even whether he would shoot his grappling hook with one arm or whether he'd rappel himself up with two arms. The point is, you can't create a single workout that's going to apply to everyone and every situation, and you'd need to know Batman to write him a perfect program. I've scheduled this as a PPLFB, that's push-pull legs full body split, meaning that you're going to hit every muscle group twice a week, but at the same time you also have enough time to dedicate an intense workout for each movement pattern. All of this is free to download from the website. You don't have to sign up, you can just download the PDF right away. Quite a basic workout, there aren't any progressions, so it's not going to work for people at every level. You're going to have to adapt this to your own needs. At the same time, it requires quite a lot of specific equipment, so if you want to see how I'd actually train somebody, as many people as possible for multiple aspects of their performance, then you should probably check out my more in-depth ebook and training program, Super Functional Training 2.0, the Protean Performance System. That includes over 2 hours of video tutorials. It's a much more in-depth and complex system, and at the same time it includes progressions and easier steps so that anybody can get started, whether you're a complete beginner or whether you're really advanced Bruce Wayne level. Plus there's an 80+ page ebook. It goes into depth on the ATNSP hierarchy. This is where I refined that system further, and many of the same exercises that I've included in this workout are included there, but with a lot more explanation and, like I say, easier and harder progressions to fit every need. Thank you so much for being patient on this one, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I tried to make it something really special. So I pulled in all this extra talent, went to all these different locations, learned some new skills. And I just want to take this moment as well to thank everybody who got involved in this video. I couldn't believe the amazing response I got from nearly everyone I reached out to. So, of course, there's Grant Stevens, who filmed some of this as usual, also gave his expert advice, and he choreographed and helped me film that awesome little fight scene where he kicked my ass. Actually, really smarted at some point, so thanks for that, Grant. Check out his YouTube channel, I'll put that in the description down below, as I will all these things. Then there's Liam Ellis from Parkour Journeys, who showed me his parkour moves, also helped with some filming, and he has a fantastic channel, but also a digital product that will teach you the climb up in more detail. So if that's something you're interested in learning, then head over there and support him. He's a great guy and he does great stuff. Then of course there's JC Santana, who's been nothing but generous as always with his time and his knowledge. He is an absolute font of knowledge when it comes to functional training, so check out his channels, again, in the description down below. Of course, Jax Blade, he's an awesome guy. You know, we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. We both like superhero training. As usual, he was a great sport and joined in, and I really appreciate it. Ben Patrick, Knees Over Toes guy, I've been admiring his work from afar for a while now, so I was super pleased that he agreed to send me that short clip, jam-packed with knowledge and information. So I thought, why not reach out to the glute guy, Brett Contreras, as well, who also responded, which was fantastic, so thank you so much for that. Another massive mover and shaker in the world of functional training. Both those guys have YouTube channels and Instagram accounts, again, all be linked down below. Then there's Alan La. That clip was from a longer interview I did with him, so that'll be coming soon, stay tuned. Otherwise, check him out at Invincible Worldwide, another exceptional martial artist. Huge thank you to Nikhil, Captain Sinbad, for his cameo. I was actually inspired by him to create that kind of trailer-like opening. He does that sort of thing sometimes, and I love his work, so it was awesome to have him as a small cameo there. Check out his channel for really inspiring productivity and lifestyle content with a real cinematic edge to it. And my buddy Janik Rajapakse, who's an actor and who kindly lent his talents for this really meaty and challenging role. I think I really tested his mettle as an actor. And to my wife Hannah, who also helped film some of these shots. All of you are awesome, and I hope to do more collabs like this in future too. For now though, thanks a ton for watching, and bye for now.
Batman, Batman, Batman.